I just noticed I've muted myself. Anyway, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name is CH, and I will be your host today. I'm really excited to have you here with us. We have another live stream here at Bitget, and today actually is our brand new series that we're launching today. It's called the Chang Gang, and this is where we will talk to top dogs in crypto. We will hopefully bring you some really good insights. So I'm super excited to be inviting our first special guest who's going to be talking with us about some of his viewpoints on where crypto is going and really how to win big coming up in 2023. Of course, Happy New Year to all of you. Please remember, we are giving away some free gifts, which is the free copy, signed copy from Bitboy himself with his new book, Catching Up with Crypto. Really excited to have him here. Now, guys, I want to see in the chat, where are you guys watching the show from? I don't know what time it is for you guys. I'm in Taipei, but either way, I'm really excited to be chatting with you guys. Let us know where you guys are watching it from. And, we'll be giving the giveaway. So be sure you go and fill it out. The more you guys fill it out, the higher of chances you guys are going to win. So, let me know. Hey, Sempat from India, I see you. Good morning, GM. All right. Let me know where you guys are watching it from. Pakistan. Okay. Wow, amazing. We're really excited to have Bitboy, who's going to be joining us shortly. And, it's really exciting that we can have him as our first big guest on the Chang Gang. It's a brand new series. And a lot more good folks will be coming on. So be sure you stay tuned with our socials. In a moment, you're going to see all of our handles. So be sure you can follow us, subscribe if you haven't already. Help us hit that like on this video so that more people can see it. We're going to be sharing some really cool news. And of course, Bitboy, Ben Armstrong is going to be sharing some incredible insights with us moving forward. So let me know. Turkey. All right. Luke from Minnesota, USA. Hello. Leon from Sweden. All right. Also, I just see, you have to make sure you guys let us know an email where we can contact you when you fill in the Gleam form. That's how we are able to announce the winner. And with Gleam, they actually have a mechanism where they'll select a winner at random. So it's completely out of our hands, but you do have to make sure you fill in all of the information and also follow all the instructions. The more tasks you complete, the higher of chances you will win. So good luck to all of you. Some free books coming your way. All right. We got some folks from the UK, from Bangladesh. All right. Wow. This is incredible. This is the beauty of crypto. We have people from all over the world watching at all times. Incredible community here at Bitget. For me, I'm new here, so I'm really excited to be on the Bitget's platform. So it's just always incredible to see so many, good friends from all over the world join us. Let me know who else is where are you guys watching it from? Okay, so we have Bitboy. It's coming up, and let's see here. We have someone saying that the live is not working properly. I'm going to refresh and see how we're doing here with the live. Give us a second here. Okay. I can see myself. I think it's going okay. Let us know, please. We're always, eager to know what the community is thinking. Anything you guys like to share, let us know. And thank you for, the great compliments. Always appreciate it. All right. Now, I wanted to invite up our special guest, Bitboy, of course. His name is Ben Armstrong. He is definitely by far the biggest crypto YouTuber in North America. And this guy's a jack of all trades. He's got a very successful crypto YouTube channel, and he just released a brand new book. So just incredible. I wanted to bring him on. And let's see where he is. Ben, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Amazing. Hey, before we start, I just really want to acknowledge all the hard work you've been doing. Like I said, running a channel is not easy. I have my own channel and it's crazy hard work. And On top of that, you were able to, warn a lot of people with SBF because you investigated him. I've been keeping tabs on that. I saw your tweet, and you definitely were ahead of the curve. So you definitely saved a ton of people millions of dollars. So props to you on that.
Yeah, definitely. It's something we're very happy about. Tons of people send me messages, say we saved their life savings and stuff like that. So, just really, really good. Kind of, we were just at the right place at the right time to get some information and helps people out.
Yeah, definitely. And it's just incredible. Like I said, you're just a jack of all trades. You have your channel, and then now you're releasing a new book. And I just want to say, man, congrats on your success. Really incredible to watch.
Thank you. Appreciate it. We've been around for a while, so it's good to see a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Absolutely. And it's great to meet you face to face. We did a nice Twitter Spaces last week. Thanks for coming on and joining the Bitget family.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
We love Bitget.
Awesome. Great. So maybe to start, I was hoping perhaps you can share with us, how did you venture into crypto in the first place? And what was it that really got you excited?
Yeah. So crypto, my first purchase would have been Bitcoin, obviously. Back in 2012, I bought $450 worth of Bitcoin. That got me back then 37 Bitcoin because it was actually worth about between $11 and $12 each. And, a lot of people hear that story and they think, oh, man, you got in so early. You were lucky. Well, I was using it to buy a software for a business I ran. And so I was bringing in the money and I was spending it just as quick. And I wasn't, it wasn't an investment to me, certainly not. And I didn't understand anything about Bitcoin. I didn't know the difference between Mt. Gox and Bitcoin and, what an exchange was. I had no idea. All I knew is I had to go through this really complicated process that didn't have any videos or tutorials out there on how to do it, and buy this Bitcoin and send it into this guy every quarter for, my quarterly payment for my software that I was using. And, it's one of these things where, man, I could be really, really rich if I would have known what I was looking at, if I would have known and understood from an education standpoint what Bitcoin was, but there just wasn't the information out there back then. There was basically one YouTube channel and a bunch of really bad websites that didn't have, there were still people back then that thought that Satoshi Nakamoto was just some random guy in Japan. They didn't know it was a moniker. So that's how I got in early on. And that's how I lived the pain of selling all my Bitcoin really early and not knowing that it had value. And so in 2017, started looking at the price, realizing, man, I made a really big mistake, and decided to figure out what it was and go all in.
Absolutely. I think a lot of folks kind of have a similar journey. I know for sure I was the same. The first time I came across it, no idea what the hell it was. Read some titles, Warren Buffett saying is rat poison squared, never looked into it. Of course, huge mistake. So it's just funny how we all have very similar journeys, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, for a lot of people, it is the mistake of hearing about it the first time and not getting in it. For me, it was actually the mistake of hearing it the first time and not knowing what it was and getting in on it. So, I think in some form or fashion, really to be successful in crypto, you've got to have a big mistake somewhere along the way. Whether it's you heard about it and didn't invest, whether you sold too early, whether you got hacked, whether you lost money on an exchange, whatever it was, you just came in at the wrong time, bought a bunch of coins, they went down in value. That's where the learning process in crypto, and it's not comforting for people, if that's something they have to go through. However, it is something that leads to people sticking around and wanting to know more, even though they lost. And then they pick up, knowledge and skills and education on how the next cycle, the next time things turn around, they can bank those profits and do well.
Absolutely. So then speaking of the next cycle and the future, where do you see Bitcoin and really the crypto adoption going?
Yeah. So right now, we think we're just tracking along with the regular 4-year cycle. And we think for Bitboy Crypto, for my channel, we believe that most likely Bitcoin has already bottomed, that it bottomed in November. Near the beginning of the year, we said we thought Bitcoin would go between $10,000 and $14,000 shortly after the midterm elections. And that's what we saw. It didn't go in that range, but the time frame, we hit a new bottom. It was 15,200 coming off of the FTX, contagion debacle, of course. So for me, I just don't think Bitcoin is doing anything different than it's always done. There are some people that have way more bearish outlooks that it's going to go down much further and this year is going to be bad, 10-year bear market, whatever. I hear it all the time, and we just consistently see in crypto, it's always the same. It's different this time, but then Bitcoin just keeps, marching to the beat, of its own drum. So what that means is we're going to see probably about a year of slow prices rising, or prices rising slowly, accumulation zones, maybe more altcoins, dropping down much further. We could see that. But overall, people are going to get invested, in the next year or two as we head towards the halving cycle. And then that's when the price will go up. Of course, March 2024 should be when we see the halving. Usually about 3 months after the halving, we see the price start to move. The price will move leading up to the halving, and then it'll dump afterwards. And about 3 months later, start picking up steam. And that's when the bull run really starts. And that's when the most of the people are going to start coming in. Obviously, will be during the bull run. And then we'll do this whole thing again where they'll lose their money, the people that came in at the top. And then, of course, the people who've been here now, from now on. Just like we saw in the last cycle, if you were here in the bear market and you made it all the way through, you got rewarded in the bull run. I think that's what we'll see again. Now, that's Bitcoin. As far as adoption goes, adoption is really, it's kind of a meme to me, mainstream adoption. What does that mean? Like last year or 2 years ago, if we would have said, hey, are we at mainstream adoption, before, Elon Musk tweeted about Tesla and Bitcoin in May of 2021, people would have told you it was already here. Mainstream adoption's here. Tesla, Michael Saylor, everybody's talking about it. Walmart was talking about it. Amazon. But now you fast forward 2 years to the bear market, or a year and a half, and now everybody's like, I don't know if they're ever going to get adoption. So I think it's really the kind of thing where all we can concentrate on is just getting more people in the space, teaching them the philosophy of crypto. It's about more than just money. It's about, really saving our financial sovereignty, and privacy and transactions and things like that. So for me, I think we're going to see the same thing. We'll get more people in the next cycle that'll stick around, and then slowly over time get to where there's just nobody left to get into crypto because everybody's already in.
Yeah, absolutely. I think anybody who is sticking around and watch our live stream now, I mean, you can consider yourselves OG now, right? If you're sticking around through these bear cycles, these brutal downturns, give yourself a pat on the back, because you're going to win it out if you stick around long enough.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
The statistics say if you get in crypto and you stay active, paying attention and investing for 4 years, you'll crush it, because that's an entire cycle. If you make it through one entire cycle, the statistics will tell you that in all the previous cycles, everybody that came in during that time and stayed around, they all made good money. You can't guarantee it, of course, but that's what we've seen throughout history.
Absolutely. And I think it's like you said, it's just going to keep following the same trend. Human nature is just going to do what human nature does, right? I mean, nothing ever changes. So if you're sticking around now, congrats, it's going to pay off. And for our new friends who are just tuning in, please go down to the description. There's the Gleam link. Make sure you fill it out. Our dear guest, Bitboy, is giving away a free copy, signed copy to his brand new book. Maybe you can enlighten us a little bit about what that's all about.
Yeah. So the name of the book is Catching Up to Crypto. I got one right here, actually. Here it is. Catching Up to Crypto. That's the name of the book.
Right.
This is the hardcover. It's about 200 pages. The chapters are pretty small, anywhere between, on average, probably 5, 6, 7 pages. So it's a quick read. Of course, obviously there's 21 chapters, right? For 21 million Bitcoin. But the idea of this book, we got approached from Wiley Publishing, the same publisher that did the Bitcoin Standard. And they said, we think you've got a really good opportunity, a big platform. You're very knowledgeable about crypto, communicate well, write a book. And I was like, okay, but what am I going to do it on? I didn't want to write a book just because I have a big platform and it would sell. I want to really write something that was going to have an impact in the crypto world. And I started thinking about it. It's like, man, there's really not that crypto book. There are a lot of Bitcoin books. Yeah, my favorite's Bitcoin Billionaires. I love that one. That's told from the perspective of the Winklevoss twins. You have Digital Gold. You have Bitcoin Standard, the #1 Bitcoin book of all time. You have Internet of Money. You got plenty of books out there that are Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin. There wasn't one really that was the end all be all, like what you think about when you think of a crypto book. So one thing that we experience on my channel is we'll have people come join our academy. And we had beginner courses in our academy, the BitLab Academy, bitlabacademy.com. People are interested in that. You go into the academy and go to the beginner courses, and we were getting feedback like, this is way too high level for beginners. I was like, wow, that's really crazy. I definitely thought this was beginner content. And so we really started examining, like, what is a beginner in crypto? What's the difference between someone who comes, hears about crypto, let's say on TV, they go to YouTube immediately after, and they start watching crypto videos knowing absolutely nothing? What's the difference between that person and the person that regularly watches a live stream but has just not been in for that long? And what we found is it's a really big gap. There's a really big gap that people have got to go through in order to get to the level where they can just understand crypto videos. Any video out there in crypto you can understand, if you have a certain level of knowledge. So we decided to name the book Catching Up to Crypto because I've been in crypto for, this is actually my 11th year in crypto now. And I've got the perspective of all those years of history, making the mistakes, doing very well at certain points, going through bear markets, going through bull cycles, going through the entire thing, learning about the Bitcoin halving, the Bitcoin maximalist, the whole thing. I've got the perspective that a lot of people just don't have. And a lot of the information that gives context to the crypto world, you can't Google it. You can't look it up. You kind of just had to be there. And so by reading this book, Catching Up to Crypto, you are going to basically be able to skip through all of those years where you could have been here, but you weren't, and that's okay, and get caught up. So going forward, you can make, good decisions, not just about how to make money in crypto, but what area of crypto do you want to maybe become an expert in? Do you want to get further into NFTs, further into metaverse? Nobody's really doing that now. Further into investing. After you read this book, even if you're brand new right now, you're going to have the ability to take that next step.
That's great. You really providing value to even the newbies. So incredible to see, man. Just awesome. And, just so you guys know, the audience members, if you guys have any questions, feel free to type it in the chat. This is going to be an AMA later on. We're going to be discussing some of thoughts from Bitboy himself. So let us know in the chats. And, Ben, I think you mentioned in the book, I took a little peep on the Amazon page, and it looks like you kind of talk a lot about the monetary and financial policies, surrounding Bitcoin and crypto assets. I was kind of curious, how is the monetary and financial policy really being revolutionized by the introduction of Bitcoin and these crypto assets?
Yeah, they're just really simple questions that people don't really think about. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't think about these simple questions until I got really deep into crypto. What is money? Like, what is money? I mean, any kindergartner will tell you, here it's mom and dad, they spend it on a credit card or cash or whatever the case may be. My kids would tell you it's Bitcoin. But that's not really what money is. Money is basically the value you earn for the output of energy. That's really what money is. And when you really start to break down what money is, how it's created, how supply and demand are universal principles that will never go away in relation to money, you start realizing like our current system's broken. and that's what Satoshi Nakamoto realized in 2008 after the financial crisis. Something different has got to be created. And it doesn't mean it's got to be integrated tomorrow. I believe Bitcoin will become the reserve currency of the world. But I think it's like 25 to 50 years. I don't think it's anytime soon, right? It's going to be a big, long process. And Satoshi knew that. And he set this up in a way to where, people would be able to have their own money that no one could take from them. Not your keys, not your crypto. Your Bitcoin, people would tell you not your keys, not your Bitcoin. But the fact is that, going forward, it's going to make big waves, in the world. It already is. I mean, if you look at the number of institutions, and by institutions, of course, we're talking about banks and hedge funds and VC firms and things of that nature. Well, they're already here. They started coming in 2017 towards the end. Then now you look at what is going to be the next phase of kind of what's the next thing that can get people excited to make the market cap go up high enough to hit all-time highs again. Well, if countries start coming in and adding Bitcoin and maybe also Ethereum to their balance sheets. I think that's something we're going to see. We're going to start seeing like some war games when it comes to, financial policy between large countries like Russia, China, the United States, gathering as much Bitcoin as possible. We're on a ticking time bomb here when it comes to our fiat system. Anytime you look at a civilization that started devaluing their currency, it always collapses shortly after. So if you go back to the Roman Empire, the Greek Empire, it was a little bit different, right? They started with gold coins, and those gold coins, they would slowly add silver into them, copper. And then before you knew it, 20 years down the road, they didn't have any gold left in them, maybe just a speck. The money wasn't actually worth anything anymore. It was just worth what the government told you it was worth. That system does not work. Same thing happened in the Greek Empire, okay? Now what we're seeing in America is 1971, we get taken off the gold standard. Now all of a sudden, our money is not backed to anything, and it becomes called fiat currency. Fiat currency is not paper money. It's fiat currency is paper money or a representation of money that's not backed by anything. There's no backing to it. And so I think we're going to see our fiat system collapse. They may be able to save it another 20 years with the introduction of a digital dollar, the USDC. I believe it's USDC will become the CBDC in America. We'll see what happens there. But a CBDC is coming here in America. And once that happens, they can make it available more available around the world, which would increase the demand, and they wouldn't have to increase the supply at the same rate that they're probably going to do once they have a digital money printer. Imagine what they're going to do with that. The whole idea is that when it comes to crypto and monetary policy and the future of the world, Bitcoin is going to play a role. It's probably going to usher in and be the replacement of the fiat system that we've been living in, because it is eventually going to crash. Everybody can see it. They can only hold on so long.
Absolutely. Diluting the money is definitely a tale that goes back in ancient days, right? I mean, like you said, the silver, the copper, the emperors, they always dilute the money. The Bitcoin standard definitely talks about this as well. Mm-hmm. And, us Bitcoiners, we always look at the issues surrounding fiat currency and just the confiscation of wealth with the average person. So absolutely, with crypto and Bitcoin specifically, we're really, that really is a solution to the problem. And absolutely. So you're absolutely right. Great. Yeah, awesome. So, obviously you had a huge role in investigating SBF and telling the public about that whole fiasco before it imploded. So, I was just curious, because of the collapse of so many crypto institutions, how do you recommend users to really identify a reliable platform?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously there's the new idea of proof of reserves or proof of audit, where basically exchanges are being, more transparent with what they hold, what they have on their balance sheets. Some of them may not necessarily be putting what they owe to other people yet, but we're making some steps in that process. But I think number one, is this a real exchange, right? What do I mean by that? Does it have a community? Does it have social media? Are they interacting and engaging with their audience and they're not bots? We want to make sure where you're trading is going to have real people that you can get to, when it comes to support, because there may be issues that people have on exchanges, obviously, right? I've had issues on exchanges. I sent a non-ERC20 coin to an Ethereum address one time, and it let me do it. And I didn't know what to do. And on the exchange where I'd sent it into, I was able to get the money back through customer support. So you want to make sure you're going to have that backing to be able to do that. Of course, decentralized exchanges, while decentralized exchanges have their role, and obviously a lot of people love them a lot. I've used them a lot. They don't have any customer support. You lose your money, you make a bad trade, you get rug pulled. Obviously, it's gone. If you send it to the wrong place, there ain't nobody to help you. So I think that's one thing people should look at. You also want to look at the volume, the liquidity. You want to make sure you're setting up is going to have the amount of money on the exchange to trade to the level you want to trade in. There's nothing worse. I go back to 2017, trying to get a token on a decentralized exchange back then. Man, they were so incredibly hard before Uniswap. And it took me, I think, 4 to 6 hours to make a simple trade because there was no liquidity. It was one of only 2 decentralized exchanges that had any liquidity at that time in 2017. And it took 4 to 6 hours for the trade to close. And it wasn't even a lot of money. I think it was probably $1,500, that I bought there. So there's nothing worse than getting to a place and then realizing that they don't have the liquidity for your coin. You go check out an altcoin you want to buy, for instance, and you look at the markets, you see all the exchanges it's listed at, and then you go there and realize there's no volume. Your order will be sitting there forever. That's definitely not what you want. You definitely want somewhere where you're going to be able to get your trades executed when it's time to execute them. You're not going to have to wait. I obviously love a good, clean user interface. Bitget's got to me, the best user interface that I've used. We used to use Bybit back in the day a lot. I really enjoyed it. I think it's a good platform. I like Bitget even better. I actually, right now, at this very moment, I have a short open. so I'm trading right now. I've been trying to watch it, and I'm up 10%. So there you go.
Well, fantastic. Love to hear that. Well, then speaking of which, what is your favorite trading tool and perhaps a strategy you use at Bitget?
Yeah. So actually, what we do is we have our own indicators through our BitLab Academy suite that will, cue you in to when it's time to look for trades. And so I use a combination of those indicators and then sentiment too, right? Because obviously if something bad is about to happen in crypto, the charts and the indicators aren't always 100% accurate. That's why you got to run with stop losses. I think really, my trades are pretty easy. I look for my entry, I get in, I set my stop loss. I don't always set my take profit. I like to watch it run and just decide when to pull it out. But with the stop loss, that's going to tell me how high I put my stop loss, how much I need to pay attention to the trade. If this is something that hits a stop loss, I might lose 30% or something like that, then I'm going to need to pay close attention to it and watch the way that it's trending. If, I've got a stop loss that is not necessarily an unachievable number, right? Bitcoin can move very quickly, but one I feel very comfortable with, I just kind of set it and forget it. I'll put it in there and I'll just kind of watch throughout the day. Like I was at the gym yesterday when I set this one, the price spiked up like $200. I said, let me short that thing. As I looked at my indicator and it was looking very toppy. So I hit the short, and it's much different in my opinion when you're using the 1 to 10 to 12 hour charts or the daily chart and you're running type stop losses. It's actually really freeing. I'm not having to look at the trades nonstop. I check them maybe, once every 30 minutes or so, just see where the price is if I have a big active one. But trading doesn't have to be like all intensive to where every moment of your day you're looking at a chart. Some people are going to do that and they're going to trade on those smaller time frames. I would kind of argue trading on the longer time frames, like the day chart or the 8-hour chart or the 4-hour chart is kind of a medium range one there. It's not a lot of active management like it is if you're trading on the 12-minute chart or the 15-minute chart. Constantly you're having to look and things are changing quickly. But when you're doing some of these longer time frames, you can be more chill about it. And actually, on these longer time frames, you get better confirmations when you have something telling you should get into a trade. And that to me actually usually will lead to bigger profits anyways than constantly trading on something like I got people that work with me that trade on the 30-second chart. I'm like, that is too much if you're trading on the 30-second chart. So, I don't really, other than our indicators, like when it comes to tools, we are looking at, potentially doing some copy trading for our audience. That is a Bitget tool. But I really just think it's, pretty simple. Get in there, make your trades, set your stop losses. If you hit your stop loss, don't go right back in. You probably want to cool off for a little bit if you took a loss, and pretty simple trading strategies.
Wise words. Love it. So of course, today's stream, the title, of course, is Win Big in Crypto in 2023. So I think, perhaps I wanted to ask, how do you win huge in crypto? What are some of your personal stories of really achieving success that potentially others can emulate? Yeah.
Well, I mean, number one, and this goes to trading. This goes to investing in crypto in general. This also goes to creating content on YouTube or being a social media influencer. Hard work and patience just cannot be outdone. You hear people all the time say, work smarter, not harder. Yeah, of course. But do you know how you learn to work smarter? Because you've been working harder. And over time, you start to figure out better ways of doing things and, better strategies, better ways to cool your emotions, especially when it comes to trading. And you learn these things over time. But the only way you learn them is by doing these things, right? Like, and I think this is a very interesting number. I know people that are watching this channel, they're probably not trying to be YouTubers. Some may be, but this is so interesting. It really tells the tale of how important patience and a long-term outlook is. People say, how long does it take someone to get to 100,000 subscribers on YouTube? And you'll hear people say things like, 1 year, 6 years. Somebody that has no idea what they're talking about say like 2 months, right? But they're always measuring it in the wrong currency. It's not amount of days or weeks or years doing YouTube. It's the number of videos. There is a number. It's 1,500. When you make 1,500 videos on YouTube consistently over, if you did it over 50 years, I don't know. But if you do it over a few year time period, anywhere from 2 to 5 years, then you should theoretically, that's the average amount of time it takes YouTuber to hit 100,000 subscribers. But people come in and they want to take shortcuts. Same thing that happens in crypto. They want people to tell them how to invest for them. They want to look at somebody else and say, that person's successful, let me copy their portfolio. And that doesn't always work because you don't know what you're investing in. You'll end up doing the same thing I did when I got in Bitcoin. Investing in something I had no idea what it was. And I had no idea the value it would be down the road. So really taking that long-term mindset and just being patient, paying attention to crypto, even when it's boring. It may get a lot more boring at points over the next year or so, and just stick around. And it's really hard in crypto if you've been around. I know one person that's been in crypto for like 10 years and they still haven't made any money. And there's a very simple reason why. Because every time they start getting on a roll, they start making bad decisions. They start making bad decisions, buying bad projects, buying bad NFTs, making bad decisions while they're trading. You've got to make terrible decisions if you stick around for crypto for 10 years, not to be super wealthy, or at least, doing very well. And so to me, you have people who've come in during good times when they should have been investing and accumulating, and they still can mess it up, even if you're looking at it long term. And then you start making a bunch of short-term decisions that can mess you up too. So really, that's just stick around. You can't beat experience in the crypto markets. It's the only thing that's going to set you aside from the next guy coming in tomorrow.
I couldn't agree more. Good things take time, a lot of trial and error. I feel like in crypto, a rite of passage is you have to experience getting scammed. You have to experience you getting dumped on. There's just so many different experiences, of course, really suck during the time, but you learn a lot from it. And these are definitely the most valuable lessons you can go through. And then you can pivot to make better decisions in the future. So I love that. Fantastic. Guys, if you're just joining us, please make sure you go down to the description. There is that Gleam link. We have 5 signed copies, the brand new book from Ben Armstrong himself. So definitely go and do that. I think we're going to open up the floor to some audience questions, if you're okay with that.
Sure.
Okay. And I think we've taken a look. Okay. First one here. Hey, Bitboy is wondering why you decided to release your crypto book during a bear market.
Yeah, well, it's really hard to release a book in a bull market because you're so incredibly busy when things are going up, right? It's a little more chill when things are down. But it's hard to time because it takes a long time to write a book, and you might write the book and plan it for the bull run. And then before you know it, prices drop and you're putting it out at the wrong time. I looked at this book as I want to get it in the hands of the people who are going to make the money before the cycle starts, not during the next cycle. So we're very pleased to put it out, this year. It's obviously, next year we have the halving. This is the year of education. This is the year where people are going to be able to get in, understand crypto better, develop strategies and accumulate during this time, and they're all going to be paid off, handsomely in the next bull run in 2024 and going through 2025. So there's no better time, right? They say bear markets are for building, right? Crypto winter is for building. Just don't say biddling. Make sure you say building. But that's what crypto bear markets are for. You see it with altcoins. Their teams get back to work, the ones that are successful. You see it with crypto media companies. You see it. Everybody kind of just reevaluates their strategy during this time. So I thought it was a great time to get the book. The book's not just for beginners. I mean, the book is for anybody who's not been in crypto for, let's say, at least 5 or 6 years. And even if you have been in that long, it's kind of cool to walk back and remember some of the early days as well. And maybe there's some stuff you might learn as well. But obviously, beginners and intermediate crypto curious people, that's who we really look at. And this is the time that they should be getting in. So I thought the book had good timing.
I agree. I think actually this is the best time to be releasing. It could be a great gift for the loved one, for someone you care about. Maybe this is the best time to really start learning about it and dip your toes in and try it out. Awesome.
Yeah.
Let's check out the second question. What do we got here? All right. When do you think the next bull run will start and why?
So technically, we're in one right now. Technically, if 15,200 was the bottom. When you look back at the Bitcoin cycles, you group it as bear market and bull market. And technically, a bull market should begin when the lowest bottom of that 4-year cycle occurs. So if 15,200 or 15,400 in November was the bottom, technically we're in a bull run right now. But obviously that's not what people want to that's not what people want to hear, right? They want to know, when are they really going to start making money? We believe by the end of this year, November, December, I think we could see the price start moving in a very good direction back over 30K, maybe not permanently, but at least for the foreseeable future. And then, of course, as we lead into the halving, the price will go down. And then, of course, after the halving, 3 months after, that's when the parabolic action is going to begin. And we think Bitcoin is going to hit new all-time highs late December of 2024. Or not late December, sometime in December, November, December of 2024.
Okay, that's great. Are there any indications that you kind of look at, or what are the things that you find really important that kind of sparks that big bull run for you?
Yeah. So, I mean, just the 4-year cycle, it repeats every 4 years, and it doesn't look exactly the same, but it at least rhymes. And so people say, you don't know what's going to happen in Bitcoin over the next, 2 years. Yeah, you're right. I don't, but I have a whole history of bull cycles and bear market, or of Bitcoin cycles, to look at and see. So far, there's been heavy correlation between every one and time periods and how it relates to that halving that occurs every 4 years. You're literally cutting the production of Bitcoin in half every 4 years. So to me, until we start venturing outside of those cycles, then, I definitely think that there's no reason to want to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to be the smartest guy in the room. You just go with what works. And if I predict, let's say 6 or 7 major things in the next 2 years based on history, that doesn't mean that they're all going to happen, but most of them probably will.
That's a great insight. I love that. Okay. 4-year cycle it is. That's definitely, I think, the most important. So you're right on that. Great. Let's look at another one. What's your take on the crypto market for 2023? Are we expecting a super bullish move?
Well, it depends on what your definition of super bullish is. Are we going to see some very uncharacteristic volatility to the upside? Yeah, I think we will. Will we see new all-time highs, or we see Bitcoin seriously charge towards new all-time highs? No, I don't think so. So if you look back at the previous cycle, 2019 would have been equivalent to where we're at now. You got 2 big moves. You had a big move in the early part of the year, and then you had a big move towards the summer. The summer move, it went up, I think it was 370% from the low. It hit $3,200 in December of 2018. The summer of 2019, I remember we were all at the Bitcoin 2019 conference, having a great time, and Bitcoin just started going up out of nowhere. It went all the way back up to $14,000. And we're like, oh my gosh, the bull run's back. I wasn't a full Bitcoin cycle believer at that point yet. So I was like, man, here we go. We're going back up only again. And then before you knew it, the prices came back down, for all the way from 14,000 back to $6,000. And I think we'll see something similar. I don't think we're going to see necessarily a 370% pump. I think we can certainly see one in the 2 to 3x range. Let's say Bitcoin's bottom is 15.2 and you get a 3x move, it might be able to go back up to 45. 38K is kind of a number I'm looking at. There's a lot of volume there. There was in the last cycle or the last year. So to me, I think we're going to see some big moves. Don't get trapped by those moves. Don't get tricked and all of a sudden going all in and thinking that, it's time to hit that 100x long, because traditionally in these bear markets, price always comes back down.
Absolutely. Actually, speaking of the bear market, I was curious what your thoughts are on the recession, because obviously that's a huge topic and people are saying this year we're due for a massive one. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, we're already in one. We actually did a poll on my channel during one of our live streams and said, are we in a recession? Because we're seeing all of these politicians say we might get a recession, or, oh no, this definitely isn't a recession. The fact is 85 to 90% of my audience believes, I think the number is 89% of my, million subscribers, whatever. We have about 6,000 concurrent watching on a live stream at one time. Usually 89% said we're in a recession. So it's one of those things where, if it walks like a duck, if it talks like a duck, it's probably a duck. We're already in a recession. And so does that necessarily mean that Bitcoin is going to go down? Well, the macro, as we call it, anything that's not in crypto that has to do, with Bitcoin price potentially, an effect on it. The macro last year was worse than we've seen it since 2008. The worst that we've seen it in the history of Bitcoin. And yet, Bitcoin actually held better than it has in any previous bear market. So I would tell you the idea that the government and the recession and inflation, that's actually affecting Bitcoin, I would say actually history kind of proves otherwise. We should have been going down during this time anyways for a traditional bear market. So I'm not as I'm not as tied to the idea as a lot of other people are. I think if we get a recession, like a deep recession, and let's say there's another huge crash on the stock market, I think we may see Bitcoin totally decouple and do its own thing, and just follow along with the cycle instead of moving to what the traditional finance people are wanting it to do.
All right. That's a great insight. Let's hope that happens. All right. Let's do one more question from the audience. Hey, Bitboy, could you let us know what crypto sectors would you recommend us look into in Q1?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think layer 2 platforms, layer 2, that's what you want to be looking at right now, in my opinion. The last cycle, heavily layer 1s, layer 1 protocols, of course, we're referring to Ethereum, Cardano, Solana, and so, many of these, Cosmos, for instance, HBAR, Algorand, ICP, all of these projects are layer 1. That portfolio would have crushed it for you in the last bull run, right? Our number one investment of all time on this channel consistently are layer 1 platforms. However, layer 2 platforms are basically coupled with layer 1 platforms. However, most of them have smaller market caps and they've not quite hit, of course, Polygon is very large, but the rest of them haven't probably hit, a fever pitch yet. And so with Ethereum specifically, with the merge occurring, now you're going to see the tokenomics of Ethereum become absolutely incredible. They already are. The inflation rate has dropped 95%. Over the next 10 years, less Ethereum will come into the supply than Bitcoin will go into the Bitcoin supply until the year 2032. So when you look at that, the network is going to be bustling. We're going to have people using NFTs again. You're going to have newcomers. Who knows what they're going to be using? Blockchain gaming, maybe metaverse. I don't think it'll be metaverse yet. But they're going to be doing things that will need transactions, right? Layer 2, what they do, there's roll-ups, which is Optimism and Arbitrum, and then optimistic roll-ups. Then you also have, ZK roll-ups, which is what Polygon uses. But the point is, what they do is they batch all the transactions together and send them through. So they go quick and the fees are very low for this, right? The more adoption happens, the more people are looking at Ethereum and decentralized networks, the more that large players and entities are going to want to get involved. And if they're doing transactions, like let's say it's an NFT platform, they're going to need a ton of transactions, right? Layer 2 is going to be the thing that almost everyone that interacts with Ethereum is going to be using. They're going to be using Polygon. I mean, that's what Donald Trump used for his NFTs, for instance. You're going to see people using Polygon over Ethereum. I think you're going to see Ethereum, really take the lead here as it moves closer to flipping Bitcoin. And Ethereum has digital gold qualities too now with the new tokenomics. So I think that's going to be a narrative to watch. Institutions maybe investing in Ethereum as digital gold and maybe investing in Polygon as a hot altcoin for the next cycle. We know they're already doing that. There's actually, a big tie-in between Goldman Sachs investing in Polygon. So I think that's something to definitely watch and look for the other major players underneath Polygon, like Arbitrum, like Optimism, like Loopring. And then you can also look at layer 2 platforms for other layer ones, not just Ethereum as well. That's a little more research intensive right now because there's not a ton of information out there on those unless you go digging for it. You don't talk about them every day in the news in crypto generally. Just remember the lower value the altcoin is in terms of market cap, the worse shot it's got to make it. So if you want to go look into some of these layer 2s, then make sure that if you're going to pick one that's, let's say, not in the top 100, that you're definitely doing your research and make sure you believe it's going to be here for the long term.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Risk and reward, right? I'm definitely liking the L2s as well. I think you're absolutely right. ETH is looking like the clear winner in the L1 wars. And absolutely, Polygon, of course, adoption is now through the roof. You have Starbucks, Nike, they're all building on Polygon as well. And speaking of L2s, actually, we are going to be hosting a Twitter Spaces discussing in full detail a lot of the layer 2s. So please stay tuned. Guys, we have the handles on the live stream. If you guys want to go follow us, make sure to follow Bitboy as well, as if you haven't already. Some great insights and content coming out for you consistently. And Ben, I just want to say thank you so much. You've been incredible. We're super happy to have you in the Bitget family, and we're excited to see what's to come. I was hoping you can, if there's any last words you'd like to share with the audience.
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier in the show, we love Bitget. Thanks for having us on. It's the most trading I've done in 2 years now. Once I got the Bitget app, and I'm not saying that because I'm trying to promote you. I'm saying it because I really am doing that. And like I said, I've got a trade open right now. Just remember, if people do want to trade, make sure you're using stop losses and using proper risk management. You'll hear this narrative out there that like everybody loses in leverage trading. It's the devil. That's what low IQ people say that don't want you to be successful. And you probably believe that you can be successful, and you can. And it's just practice, and it's studying, and it's getting educated in trading. Just like if you're new to crypto, getting educated in crypto, through my book, Catching Up to Crypto is a great way to do that. And I think that overall, the next couple of years are going to be very bright for crypto. It feels dark right now because of the FTX stuff and Genesis and all this. But over time, that's going to go away. It happens every bear market. Every bear market, we have companies collapse. This is nothing new. And we're clearing some bad actors out of the space. And so really excited to see in the next few years where we go.
Absolutely. Thank you again. We really couldn't ask for a better guest to appear on our first episode of the Chain Gang. Really excited to bring more content to you guys. Please stay tuned. If you haven't already, please go to that Gleam link, fill it out so you can win a free book from Ben himself. Ben, thank you again, and we will see you again soon.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Take care, guys. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.